Alrighty guys, this video is going to be about the Kenda Radial Riot that was on just recently. We took a few cars down. We had Mark's little hatch, the mustard one, back the first run since its accident. We had a whole team of guys up here get involved and get that car back turned around quite quickly. So this is its first track outing. It was at Power Cruise, but that was just a shakedown. This is its first proper track outing. And then we had Paulie's little black Gemini. He was running, both Mark and Paulie were in the OG 275 class, which is kind of for like street registered or street style cars with cooling systems and stuff. You know, you're not push carting up to the line and stuff like that. It's a street car that you're going to take up there. So both those guys were in OG 275. Also helping out for the first time on James Horan's black ute, affectionately known as the fucking black ute. That was a really cool experience. I was giving him a hand on getting that thing down the track, and yeah, we ended up having a really good time, and yeah, so that was really cool. Looking forward to what we might be able to do with that car in the future.
Was that under the eyes of maybe IHRA there, because he had to do some mods in the car? Now, I do believe, first run for the wagon. Now, he's still on track there, so he's...
Alrighty, we're heading up for the first pass with Horan. Let's see how he goes. Super tough car in OG 315. Heading up past one in Mark's thing. First pass of the track since we had a little mishap. Alrighty, Mark's first pass. So what happened is the car left, carrying the tyres a little bit, nothing crazy, got out to about 150 feet, and then you'll see the front slam down and the car just like almost looks like it shut off. It didn't shut off, it drove back and drove up the return road. Mark was unsure of what happened. He thought it had gone into a protection of some description. He wasn't really sure what had happened. So what he does is he came back up, car's hunting and running all weird. We shut it off, pull the data log out of the Motec and have a look. And what we could see straight away, I could see it, the throttle position was still at 100% at say like 1.5 seconds into the run. And the boost pressure has come up to say for about, like I think it was about 30, 34, 35 pounds of boost. And then all of a sudden the throttle position is still at 100, but the boost pressure drops down to atmospheric pressure. So no boost, 0 PSI of boost. I obviously know that's not possible. The engine still had RPM, it had everything, the throttle blade was wide open. Straight away my mind goes to the map sensor is faulty, or the line to the map sensor has been compromised. And turns out that's exactly what had happened. Mark ended up finding that where the it just has a vacuum hose pushed onto the back of the manifold, it had actually split open. It literally torn for about 50 mil, it had torn it complete in half. And so as a result, the ECU calculates the fueling and the ignition requirements of the engine based off the map sensor. So it calculates the density of the air in the manifold. It uses that to base all of its calculations on. So obviously if you're wide open throttle and the ECU thinks the boost drops, but it doesn't actually, it still would have had 30 pounds plus of boost in the manifold, but the ECU thinks it's got 0, it adds a whole heap of ignition timing and pulls a whole heap of fuel out simultaneously. Normally that just results in instantaneous engine destruction, because in this case it must have been just enough that it pulled it back quick enough that it didn't instantaneously kick the rods out or something like that, which is absolutely possible. That can happen. But what it did do is, once we fixed the line and we got the car started up, we could hear there was a noise and it definitely jagged a bearing, which again, we expected there to be something, because you can't just lose, you can't just pull a heap of fuel out and add a heap of ignition timing and not hurt something, you know what I mean? I think we were very lucky. We pulled all 8 plugs out, they all looked fine. So it was obviously a very brief instance, maybe literally a couple engine cycles where it was causing damage, and looks like all it's got is just the bearings. So anyway, we heard the noise in the car, put it on the trailer. We knew straight away it wasn't something we were going to fix at the track. Mark got it home, pulled the sump off it. Sure enough, it had one of the rod bearings was completely destroyed. So yeah, anyway, that'll be one of those things that Mark's going to be looking at. That the crank is a little bit marked up, so he's going to fix that. That car will be back out sooner, I'm sure. So yeah, anyway, that was the run up with that.
What have you found?
It was making boost and then it wasn't, but I think it was. It's that I think the lines maybe come off the map sensor or something. Right. Yep, that's it. Split hose map sensor.
Actually,
Wow, boosted it. Alright, well, at least that's a pretty easy fix.
What'd you do?
I turned traction control off to do a burnout, but it turns out I turned off something else.
All right, for some recent updates that we did on the cars, we did in both Paulie's and Mark's car, we added, obviously, Mark's accident. If you haven't seen it, go check out one of the other videos. It did a big power wheelie, and then when it came down, it actually cracked the transcooler and the sump and stuff, got oil under the tires, and then he hit the wall, right? So really bad time. He thought he was going to ride the wheelie out. Anyway, he said, look, can we do something to sort this wheelie out? I said, yeah, absolutely. So we got hold of Davis Technologies VPS, which is a inertial measurement unit. So it senses quite a few things, but it allows us to sense the pitch angle of the car, which is how much the car is wheel standing as it's going down the track. Then that comes into a 0 to 5 volt analog signal, which we can bring back into the ECU, and then we can base power reductions off that. So both Paulie's and Mark's car, we're testing out the VPS. We're also using it for GX data, so longitudinal acceleration data of the car, which helps. It allows me to fine tune the car better. It allows me to analyze the 60 foot and the whole run too, but really sees how the car is accelerating so that we can make decisions, chassis changes, and quantify it. So we were testing out the VPS on both cars. So yeah, the traction control's off because we've got limited maps, but that is your VPS up like control and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out if you have it off, it thinks you're in like a massive
Yeah, because it goes 9999. Like that must be like.
Yeah.
But you've got to explain it in link seconds.
Link seconds, yes. give me a good delay, please.
No, so what it is because we had to configure it as a channel, and it won't allow us to configure negatives, right? It won't allow us to have like a negative on an input channel.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've had to like normalize it to 1G, and then it also won't do decimal points off a channel like that. So what we've ended up having So it's, and again, I had to make it 10,000 so that we can get, like, because we can't just have it as like 1G. It's like that. We need it to be like to 2 decimal points, you know what I mean? So that's why it's the 10,000. So when we see 1 point, you know what I mean? So that's saying 1.33 or something like that. You see on G long, right? So if we zoom in on that, we can see how this stuff's fucking bigger.
Don't worry, I got it covered. First time every time, right?
First time, every time.
Hop just last down, 557. I think that's a problem, isn't it?
catch up. our round 3 pair up. We've got Kyle Hop from 6 Boost in the Camaro. Super tough car. Up against the Black Ute. Let's see how we go. I just hope we get a good race. Alrighty, thanks for watching the video, guys. Just in a recap, so yeah, we ended up, obviously Mark had the drama with his map sensor, so that shortened his, he only did 1 pass. Paulie, we were going rounds with, we were there all the way to the end when the event actually got rained out just before round 3. Paulie was 2 wins up at that point, and the way that Kenda works, it's a Chicago shootout format, so you run the 3 rounds of racing, and then whoever has, like, it's like, you know, if you get a win and a win and a win, in the whole field, then it's like the people with the most amount of wins and then the fastest car of those people. So turns out that Paulie and one other guy were the only 2 that actually had 2 round wins going into round 3, and as a result, it then came down to the fastest car. So in that regard, the other guy was running like 460s or something like that. Really crazy fast, tough car. Paulie's thing's obviously just a very basic combination, just a stock bottom end engine, you know what I mean? So we were just blown away that because we'd had 2 round wins, it was down to us. So we actually got the runner up in the little Gemini in OG275, which blew us away. We thought we were literally just there as class fill. We didn't expect to win anything at all. So that was really cool. Then with James Horan's ute, we ended up going, had an excellent time. We ended up top qualifying in the 3rd round of qualifying, which there was $500 up for top qualifier. So we got top qualifier. We ended up, and that top run to the top qualifier run, it was only on throttle for 3 seconds. It ripped the tyre off at about 3 seconds out with some little bumps in the track. So yeah, it literally was off the throttle, rolled through, went 450 something from memory, and got top qualifier that night. Then coming into the round of racing, we had super tough competitors, and we managed to come out on top. The round 3 was an absolutely ripper of a race against Kyle Hop's super tough Camaro. We managed to get the win there, started to get the power management really dialed in that car, and we got down a tricky surface. By the time the OG315 runs, we don't have the same track that the Radial, the Outlaw boys run on, so like your Wade Wagstaffs and stuff like that, they get a nice freshly prepped track. We kind of get the dregs, you know what I mean? That's what it is, you know what I mean? Like it only gets prepped once and then it's that same prep for the whole event. So yeah, for the surface we're running, and obviously this car, like it went 420 to 185, it's definitely making some power. It really does want a fairly tight track, and so yeah, with the tricky surface, we managed to, I managed to help out with that power management, and we got that thing down. So yeah, we were super stoked to walk away with the win there. He also got the championship as well, which is, I can't take any credit for that because yeah, that was before I got involved. But yeah, definitely that Radial Riot, we came away with top qualifier, the win in OG315, and the outright win in OG315 for the year. So we were super stoked with that. Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the video. Hope I haven't waffled on for too long. See you next time.